Hey, Perry Jeffries here, the Entrepreneur CFO, with the next segment of our webinar series. So if you've been following us, you know that this is September. September is National Life Insurance Awareness Month. So in this segment, we want to discuss how we can create a guaranteed future paycheck. So all of us are working and we're working towards some type of end goal. Hopefully that end goal is retirement. And retirement simply is having enough recurring income to cover your recurring expenses. So understand, when you retire, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have to stop paying bills. You may still have a mortgage. You may still have a car note. You're still going to have gas and electricity. You're going to want to travel. Best believe that you're going to want to travel. You're probably going to spend more money in retirement than you actually do pre-retirement. So for those fixed bills, you should have some type of fixed income. So in some cases, you may have, Social Security, if you qualify for that. You may have a pension from your company. Or if you're an entrepreneur like many of us, or you just want to make sure that you have enough income, you may actually have to go out there and create your own guaranteed sources of income. So that's what we're going to cover here in this segment. So let me share my screen here with you. And let's get into the presentation. Okay, outstanding. So let's jump into this. Learning how to guarantee your future paycheck. Okay. So if you haven't followed us before, obviously, my name is Perry Jeffries, Entrepreneur CFO. You can Google Entrepreneur CFO, find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. So a little background on myself. So I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about myself, but I always believe it's important to understand who's delivering the message. So understanding who the messenger is really important sometimes. So, I've been in this industry as a financial advisor for 15 years. I've held positions at Fortune 500 companies. I've helped launch a $1 billion pilot program for a very large bank. Currently have what's called a Series 7 license, a Series 66 life, health, and annuities license. If you're not familiar with those, a Series 7 is a stockbroker license, so I'm able to sell securities, stocks, and mutual funds, and ETFs, and things of that nature. I have a Series 66 license, which just simply says that I'm an investment advisor and I can give advice for compensation. And then you also have my life, health, and annuities licenses, so I'm able to offer those products to my clients as well. Have some designations here. One is the CRPC, Chartered Retirement Planning Counselor, through the College of Financial Planning. That designation just simply says that I'm viewed as an expert in the area of retirement planning. And I also have a CPFA, Certified Pension Fiduciary Advisor through the National Association of Plan Advisors. So with that, I function as a fiduciary for my clients, especially those with retirement plans or 401ks and things of that nature, to give them non-biased advice. Recently partnered up and had the pleasure to partner with Damon John, if you're familiar with Damon John, founder of FUBU. Also to one of the members of the Shark Tank television show, The People Shark. Had opportunity to partner with him and be an ambassador to his Rise and Grind book release earlier this year. And something I'm very proud of as well, part of the John Maxwell leadership team. So certified speaker and coach and trainer under the John Maxwell platform as well. So just a little background on myself. A lot of people know me as the founder of Financially Fit, where we combine health and wealth, but also to the Entrepreneur CFO. So moving forward, let's first start talking about money. So let me slide my screen down here so we don't take up any of the good stuff. So one thing we need to understand before we get into creating a paycheck is understanding the money cycle, okay? So the money cycle is 3 steps: accumulation, preservation, and distribution. Accumulation is just simply where a lot of us are, where we're trying to grow our assets. We're trying to grow our nest egg. We're buying real estate. We're investing in a 401k. We're buying life insurance. We're just in accumulation mode. So we're hunting and gathering in that mode. The next stage is the preservation stage. So after we've hunted and gathered, now it's time to preserve what we have because we don't want to risk losing it. And then you have the distribution phase. And this is typically the income phase. So this is the phase where you actually start trying to pay yourself some money. So let's say that you've, saved in your 401k for, 20, 30 years, you have, $500,000 in there. Now you're going to start taking income or a monthly paycheck from that $500,000. Or let's say that you didn't go the traditional route with a 401k. Let's say that you purchased real estate. Okay, now in 20, 30 years, you sold off your real estate. You now have this nest egg. Now you maybe want to start receiving that income, or maybe you continue to receive that rental income, or you own a business and you sell your business, or you phase yourself out of that business and continue to pay yourself some type of income from that business. Nonetheless, regardless of how you're receiving that income, it's because the money cycle stays the same. You're accumulating, growing, preserving, protecting, distribution, receiving. Okay? So now we kind of have that concept down. The biggest dangers you face in retirement. So we're going to speak on this. We're not going to spend a lot of time on it, but it's super important. So one of these dangers here that you face, obviously, is market risk, right? We kind of understand what market risk is. We realize that the real estate market can go up and down. We realize that the real estate market, or the stock market, can also go up and down. 2007 and 2009, made that very clear that sometimes they can go up and down at the same time. Well, market risk. So as we're investing our dollars, or we're investing in our business, or we're investing in our real estate, we run the risk of the market going up and down. That can impact our money. Then you have interest rate risk. When interest rates go up, some assets go down in value. So something to kind of keep in mind as well. And then you have sequence of returns risk, which is the risk that most people really don't understand. And of these three, it's not market risk, which is the most dangerous. It's actually sequence of returns risk. So here's an example of sequence of returns risk. So if we were kind of define it in layman's terms, it's taking money out via distribution while the market is going down. So case in point, you have two people here. You have Mr. Smith and Miss Jones, both of whom have $100,000, both of whom are invested at 60% stocks, 40% bonds. What you may not realize is that they both have the exact same account. Just the difference is Mr. Smith retired in 1969 and Miss Jones retired in 1979. So as you look at this, you notice that Mr. Jones and Miss Smith, Mr. Smith and Miss Jones are both taking out $5,000 a year, which is a fair number. Typical financial planning rule of thumb says that you're going to take out anywhere between 4 to 6% a year. Okay, so they said 5 in this illustration. Well, they're taking out $5,000. Mr. Jones' account after the end of year one of his retirement drops down to 92, and then keeps dropping down. And then by 1988, his account is completely depleted. It's gone. He's broke. He has no more money left in that account. Well, Ms. Jones, taking out the same $5,000 a year, down here almost 30 years later, has almost $600,000. So how in the world does she have almost 6 times what she started out with, and Mr. Jones is broke? You may say, well, Mr. Jones had a different account. No, they have the exact same account. So your question may be, what in the world happened? Well, what happened was Mr. Smith, when he started taking money out, the market was down a little bit, 2.6% here, down 6% here, down 12% here. You notice when Ms. Jones started taking money out, she didn't have any down years until later on. So that's the sequence of returns risk. So this is the risk that many of us face and may not realize that it's actually a risk, because now when Miss Jones takes her money out, she's taking her money out while still earning income. So that's sequence of returns risk. And we did kind of discuss this a little bit with our last group, in our last segment. But moving forward, we're talking about how to create a guaranteed fixed income here. Last week, we had some other issues technology-wise. So we'll keep our fingers crossed that doesn't happen. So what are your options? Okay, so again, we said for you to retire comfortably, you have to have some type of guaranteed income to match up with your guaranteed expenses. Because I guarantee you're going to have fixed expenses in retirement: gas, water, electricity, cell phone, cable bill, whatever the case may be, vacation fund. So if you have fixed expenses, you should have some type of fixed income. So what are your options? So first option you have here, pension from your job. So this is where you worked with a company or the government for, 20, 30 years, and they put money away for you, and you go to retire and they say, hey, we're going to pay you, 50 to 80% of whatever your income was. Okay. So either you were putting money into your pension, the company was putting money into your pension, but it's a bucket of money where they have that allocated for retirement. You have Social Security. So when a lot of people think of fixed income, they think of Social Security. You heard that saying? Oh, grandma, she's on fixed income. That's usually Social Security or a pension, because they get a fixed amount every month. And again, with Social Security, that's something that you've actually paid into. So if you ever notice that line item on your pay stub, Social Security is getting paid every time you get paid. So effectively, what you're getting back is the money you put into the account plus maybe some interest, hopefully. Okay. Or you create your own pension. So a lot of companies aren't doing pensions anymore because they're so expensive. Case in point, General Motors. They had more people receiving a pension than they had paying into the pension. So if you have a situation like that, where you're paying out more than you're bringing in, it's kind of like a bank account, right? So if you're paying out more bills than the income you're bringing in, you're eventually going to bankrupt that, or you're going to go, in a negative range with that account. So a lot of companies have gotten away from pension plans, right? So a lot of the onus is now been put on you as the investor, as the person, as the provider, to create your own pension. So let's talk real quickly about what exactly a pension is, because I've touched base on it a little bit. A pension is a type of retirement plan that provides monthly income in retirement. So if you have ever known somebody to, retire from, say, a General Motors, or retire from the state, they may have access to some type of public employee pension plan where money has been contributed to this plan while they work for the government or the school or the company. And now they have the option to retire. When they retire, they say, hey, we're going to pay you $2,000 a month, or $3,000 a month, or $4,000 a month. So that's a pension plan. Well, with a pension plan, the employer contributes money to the pension plan while you're working. The money will be paid to you usually as a monthly check in retirement after you reach a specific age. So you got to reach a certain age to get it, and the companies can actually cancel it. So, there's a horror story I heard recently talking to my father-in-law and talking about a situation that happened to his dad, where the company he was working for, his father, company actually terminated him about a month or so before he would have qualified for his full pension benefits. So when you depend on the company to pay those pension benefits, if you have to work there a certain amount of years, so let's say you have to work there 30 years, well, if they let you go at year 29, you may not get your full pension. So you may go from, getting $3,000 a month to getting $1,100 a month. But that's how our pension works. So you're hoping that the company or the entity, the organization, the government, the school system that you're working for is going to always be in a position to make that payment. Okay. So the advantage of the pension is that it provides guaranteed income. Who doesn't like guaranteed income? And like I'm saying, unfortunately, a lot of companies aren't offering those pension plans anymore. So this puts the burden of savings on you as the person who's looking to retire. So most pension plans have now been replaced with a 401k. Okay. So whether it's a 401k, a TSP, thrift savings plan, 403b, they all kind of function the same. They are retirement plans, qualified retirement plans, where now you have to make a decision to say, hey, I'm going to contribute to this plan. And in some cases, not all cases, the company may actually match you on that. So if you put in $5, the company may put in $5. But now, instead of pension plans being available, where all you have to do is work and know that you're going to get a guaranteed paycheck down the road, you now have to create your own nest egg. So that's what you're finding with 401k plans. So unfortunately, a lot of people aren't participating in these, which they're completely missing the ball. So I'm not going to go into a whole dissertation on 401k plans, but if you work with a company that offers a 401k and that matches which means if you put in, a lot of companies may say on your first 5%, we'll match you dollar for dollar. So that means that if you put in $10 into your account, they're going to match you $10, kind of depending on the numbers. Well, that's free money. So you want to take advantage of that. So I'm not going to, that's a whole nother presentation, but that's how that works. So most 401ks, unfortunately, don't provide any guarantees because 401ks can go up and down. Now, most 401ks, even they don't provide that, some new rules are flowing out here that now allow for what's called a qualified longevity annuity contract, or QLAC, with a 401k. Now, all plans don't have QLACs, but understanding a QLAC ultimately is an annuity contract. So we're going to get into this because there's a lot of similarity between pensions and annuities. So we're going to get to that here in a second. But right now, because companies aren't offering pensions, the onus is on you to grow your retirement nest egg. So what's an annuity? So you hear it all the time, what's an annuity? Annuity ultimately is a contract between you and an insurance company, okay? So you probably have heard some of the stories of, hey, so-and-so hit the lottery for 10 million. He could choose to get a lump sum, but get taxed on it and only, keep like 4 or 5 million, or he could choose to receive an annuity or a fixed monthly payment for his life for the next 30 years. Well, that's an annuity. So the annuity is where the insurance company says, hey, we're going to guarantee something. We're going to guarantee either your principal, or we're going to guarantee that you have this guaranteed income stream down the line. And a lot of pension plans are built just like annuities. They're synonymous. So if you know somebody who was ever about to retire, when they have their paperwork, it may say with their pension plans, hey, do you want the annuity payment? Because the annuity payment is what? A guaranteed fixed source of income, guaranteed monthly paycheck. And that's why you're watching the webinar today. How do you create that monthly paycheck, right? So bear with me here. Let me check something out. Okay, we're good. So annuities. So think about it like this. What are some things that you currently insure, right? You insure your home. So if you live in your home, you're required to have homeowners insurance. Why? If something, disaster happens and your home burns down or is flooded, you're able to replace it. We have car insurance. Why? If ever you have an accident or something happens, you want to be able to replace your car or repair your car. We have phone insurance. God forbid you drop one of these expensive things and you have to replace it, right? So you have your phone insurance, right? Well, a lot of folks don't realize is that you can actually have insurance on your retirement dollars. We help clients with this all the time. So client A may have worked at, a company, and now they have this retirement money, but they're not ready to retire, but they have these assets. Well, they can actually insure their retirement with an annuity contract, because again, an annuity contract is an insurance, right? It's an insurance contract, protecting your principal or guaranteeing future income. Moving right along. So you have different kinds of annuities, and we're not going to spend, because we can spend a whole day talking about annuities, but you have different kinds. You have fixed annuities, which kind of function like CDs. So with a fixed annuity, you can say, hey, this is the money I have. I'm gonna put it into a 5, 6, or 7-year annuity, whatever the case may be. And with that, it's going to get a fixed interest rate. So maybe that fixed interest rate is 3, 4, or 5%. And then at the end of that time frame, 5, 7, 10 years, whatever the case, depending on how long the annuity was, then you get your cash plus that interest back. So kind of just like a CD. You have variable annuities. Variable annuities are just like mutual funds, like the accounts that are inside your 401k plans, right? Where, it can go up and down in value, but that variable annuity with the insurance you put on it is maybe protecting the principal or giving you some type of benefit and some type of credit moving forward. So that's kind of where a variable annuity works. And there's a ton of different kinds of variable annuities. Again, we're not going to get too deep into the weeds, just to give you some brief understandings. And then you have fixed index annuities. So they function like index funds. But again, those fixed index annuities may come in and say, hey, we're going to guarantee your principal and a floor so that your value doesn't go all the way down. And you're going to be able to participate in something that mirrors the index like the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ or the Russell, and maybe you don't get full participation, but you're still able to earn some interest on the money. So with all of the annuity options, even though they're different, there's opportunity to earn interest. And then you have the immediate annuity, which is just like the lottery example I used earlier, where it says, hey, take this money and start giving me income right now. But when you have an annuity, again, it's an arrangement, a contract between you and an insurance company. And typically people go there because they want to protect the nest egg, right? Because they go, so why do you purchase insurance? For guarantees and protection. So where does an annuity fit into your plan? Well, first of all, it's not a fix-all. So you have some advisors or some insurance agents or financial professionals out there that try to slam everybody into annuities. That's not right at all. An annuity is just another tool that goes into the full financial plan. So it may be a piece of your financial plan. Maybe, the market's been up and you want to protect some of those gains. You can maybe put some of those dollars into annuity where you protect the principal. Or you're about to retire and you want to make sure that you get a fixed source of income because you have some cash coming someplace else, and you want to have these dollars allocated just to pay those monthly bills or whatever the case may be. So it's not a fix-all. An annuity is not a good fit for everybody. But when it is a good fit, it's a good fit. So again, it should be part of your overall plan. You'll have guaranteed, so you will have guaranteed expenses during retirement. You should have guaranteed income to meet those expenses. Okay. And then for anybody who would like to see an illustration, let me know, email me. I can email an illustration to you so you can kind of see how this works. So here is acronym to help you kind of understand an annuity. So the acronym is SPLINT. So S is for safety. Typically, if you're purchasing an annuity, it's because you're going to a safe place. Why? Because it's an insurance product. Why do you purchase insurance? For safety and protection and guarantees. And understand, with an annuity and insurance product is the only time the quote unquote advisors can even throw the word out guarantee, because that insurance company that you're dealing with, so whether it's Prudential or John Hancock or Allianz, they're guaranteeing, they're the ones on the hook for that guarantee. So that guarantee and that safety is based upon that insurance company, right? So that's where you have your safety in there. P, avoids probate. So, and dollars go into an annuity. So whether it's retirement dollars you put into the annuity or money out your savings account or whatever the case may be, with the annuity, if something were to happen to you, you were to pass away, these dollars would avoid probate. Why? Because you have a beneficiary on there and it pays right out to your beneficiary. Liquidity. So this is probably the biggest obstacle that a lot of people have getting their heads wrapped around annuities, is the liquidity. Perry, I don't want to have my money tied up for 5 years. Perry, I don't want to have my money tied up for 10 years, which is kind of mind blowing sometimes, because the people that say this are the ones who don't even plan on retiring for 20 years, but they don't have their money tied up for 10 years. So keep this in mind with any annuity contract, with the exception of the immediate annuity. You can always take out 10% a year out of the account. So you could purchase a 10-year annuity and take out every penny of it over the next 10 years, 10% a year. So yes, you're in a committed relationship with the insurance company, but it's not a relationship that you cannot unwind and cannot get out of. Now, in the event that you have to take out more money, you may be subject to surrender penalties, but that's why you don't put all your money into a product like this. Again, it's part of your financial plan, and you put away money that you've earmarked that you don't plan on touching for 5, 7, or 10 years, which is usually retirement money. Bear with me here 1 second. We've been working all day today. So many meetings, and we want to make sure that we keep the computer charged. Always have some technical difficulty. Well, control what you can control. The I in SPLINT, earns interest. So when you have some type of annuity product, it's going to earn interest. It's going to either earn a fixed interest or variable interest. Some products may give you a 10, 20, 30% bonus, but it's going to earn interest. And then there's a lot of different other pieces that go to it. But just understand that it's still going to have the opportunity to grow. no taxes. So typically while the money's inside the annuity, it grows tax deferred. So if it grows from 100,000 to 150,000, you don't owe taxes on that 50,000 until that money starts to come out. So it grows tax deferred. And then time. With the annuity, these are dollars that you have time, that you don't need the money right now. Never put money into a product like this that you think you're going to need that money in the next year or two or something along those lines. Even though you have some options where you can take money out, only earmark these money that you put into annuity for money you don't plan on touching for a while. Now, that's the annuity piece. Again, if you want to see an illustration, feel free to send me an email with your age and your sex and a dollar amount, and we'll be happy to send an illustration to you. Whole life insurance. You probably didn't see this one coming. So whole life insurance versus term insurance. We're not going to get into that topic today. That's for another webinar. But understanding that when you have cash value or whole life insurance, that means that you're purchasing insurance and it's going to be more expensive than the term insurance. But when you're purchasing that insurance, those dollars are earning some type of interest. So you start to accumulate a cash value. Well, what's lovely about that cash value is it's not just for death benefit, right? So when people think of life insurance, it's always, well, this is going to be for the family. No, there's some living benefits to the cash value life insurance. So you can actually use some of this cash value while you're still alive. So one, it grows tax deferred. So typically we can run some illustrations and show where the interest in a whole life product or cash value product is doing better than money is sitting in your savings account, right? So we have clients who, after they have enough money in liquid savings, they may start to contribute to a product like this. What's growing tax deferred. But what's nice about that is that at that cash value, when you go to take it out, it comes out tax free. That's because from an IRS standpoint, what you're taking out is technically a loan, though you don't have a monthly payment on it. So when those dollars come out, it's actually you're taking out tax-free income, which down the road could mean tax-free income for you. Again, giving yourself another guaranteed source of income. So for very wealthy individuals, they use this strategy. They use this strategy in what's called a LIRP, a life insurance retirement plan, because they may not be able to put enough money into their 401k or an IRA to have a large enough nest egg for them. So a LIRP allows you to put more money in, and they know that when that thing gets to the point where it's matured or it has that big enough cash value, they can start to take that money out via income, tax-free. Understanding that and having peace of mind, understanding that those dollars are not going to go down in value because you're not invested in the market. Again, if you want to see an illustration, send us an email and we'll get that sent out here to you. All right, group. So again, I mentioned before that for these to work, these are simply strategies. These are solutions. Solutions and strategies are part of a full financial plan. So when we do our financial plans, we make it really simple. We use the bucket plan strategy from our colleagues that we got from our colleagues in Northeast Ohio. So you have a now bucket, a soon bucket, and a later on bucket. The now bucket is money that you need in the next 0 to 12 months. So for money that you said, hey, I need this money in the next year, you don't invest that. You keep that in a liquid emergency account. So money market account, savings account, online bank, but something that you can access that money and knows that it's not going to go down in value. Your soon bucket is going to be your money that you need in the next, say, 2 to 10 years. So if you're 10 years off from retiring, you need to be thinking about how much money to put into the soon bucket so that you can protect that asset so that it's available for you in 10 years. Because what we know is tried and true about the market is going to go up and down. That's just what it's going to do. So we have to prepare for it and plan for it. Well, we don't want money that we need in 10 years to be in the middle of a market correction where the market is going up and going down 20, 30, 40%. So that's why you have a soon bucket. And then your later on bucket is money that you don't plan on touching for 10 years plus. So when we put our plan together for our clients, we use this strategy. So insuring your portfolio, first of all, annuities are not for everybody, but it can be a great piece of your comprehensive financial plan. So what's the process? Get educated on the money cycle. We did that. What's the money cycle? Accumulate, protect, distribute. Talk about the bucket plan. We briefly covered that. You have your now, soon, and later on buckets. Next step, if you want to move forward with this process, is you will need to complete the asset questionnaire. We do an income gap assessment to understand how much income you need, and also too, how much income you're going to need in retirement, and make sure we fill that gap. We kind of complete a volatility assessment to see, if you're conservative, aggressive, moderate, and we design a plan for you. So I recommend that whether you work with me or you don't work with me, is not why we're doing this piece. I'm doing this piece to simply educate you on what this process should look like, and understanding that all of us need some type of financial plan, and understand that a product is not a plan. A plan is a plan. So it's like, I use this analogy all the time, it's building your dream house. If you were to build your dream house, you wouldn't go out and buy a leather seat first. First thing you would do is have your dream house drawn, and then you put the furniture in where it fits. So have yourself a financial plan completed by a financial professional. Again, Perry Jeffries here, the Entrepreneur CFO. You can contact me at diamondequityadvisors.com. You can get on my calendar if you like at www.mycfo.ask.me. And I hope this information was valuable to you. And feel free to send us some feedback and questions. We always open to questions and educating folks on some of these topics. And I hope it is valuable for you. All right. Thank you very much.